Shema everyone, it's JonnyVR here with my review of Doctor Who Flux series finale, which is called The Vanquishers. Now there's a whole lot to get into here again, so you know the drill. Like and subscribe for more Doctor Who videos, gaming channel at youtube.com/skybotgaming, and check out our social medias as well. Okay, so the first part again will be spoiler free. I'll give you notice when we're going into spoiler territory, so if you haven't seen it yet, you can go to the end where I give my overall score and final review, but do come back to hear my full reaction to what went on in the episode. Okay, so spoiler free part. I think the thing is, this episode, it starts off right in the very beginning, really chaotic. There's a lot going on, very chaotic. There's a lot going on, as you might expect from what, from the rest of Flux and the rest of the last episode in general. I think the thing is, it does, after a chaotic start, it gets better throughout, like with the pacing. However, a lot of the points in the episode are they come across as very easily dealt with just to get the story moving along again. And this is kind of what I was afraid of. Everything seems too easy. Some characters in particular are particularly smarter, I think, than they should be, and it's just, yeah, some of the conclusions, some of the fixes are quite easy, and it had a lot of promise, and in a lot of those parts it didn't deliver. So it just leaves a bit of a weird taste right at the end of all that, which is it's a shame, because I did enjoy the last 5 episodes. I think it was so far so good. It just sort of all that's all I can say. I think there was some good moments, but overall I just couldn't get over the fact that when things needed to move on, things moved on very easily, and some characters were unbelievable in this episode. Like, I couldn't and I can't really say anything without going into spoilers. I'll try and say a few more things. I think there's a whole lot of characters in this episode that, as you might expect, because it's the finale, and because there's so many characters, it does get a bit jumbled. There's a whole lot of things to say, and everybody has to have a thing to say. There's a lot of things that happen throughout the episode, like you're telling us how things should be, and how who's good and whatnot. It just leaves a bit of a sour taste, right? Because I think the annoying thing is as well is that after everything, especially in the last series, it promised that there was gonna, the idea, I think, from the last episode was that something was gonna give. There would be more answers or whatnot, and there wasn't any. A lot of the answers to questions that people might have do go unanswered. Because there's not enough time for that. The thing is, it feels like a finale. There's a lot going on. Like, with regards to the last 2 finales, this one is sort of the biggest and is the most exciting. There's a lot going on. It definitely feels like the best finale, but that's because in series 11 there wasn't really any high stakes. Timeless Children in series 12, again, that was a lot of information. So there's a lot of action in it. I can tell you that. But again, to move the story on, things go a little bit easily in favor of the main characters. I gotta go into spoilers now. I can't go anymore. But let me know what you think about the episode in the comments below. So yeah, this is the spoiler part of the review. Here's your spoiler warning. Okay, so in the cold open, like, things get very, done very quickly. You know, this is not necessarily a bad thing, like this has been done throughout the series, but you know, Swarm is coming to get the Doctor with his hand outstretched, and then she runs away, and that's it. You know, that's it. Yaz can like hook to a door, close the door, the Centaurans are coming through, open it, they get zapped by the electricity, that's done, you know. But then there's other things, you know. That's how confusing the start is, right? Because this is all before the opening credits, and the Doctor gets she wants to return to the universe, and so she pulls the thing off that's keeping her there, but Swarm touches her, and then she gets split in three ways. So not only does all the various different characters you know, who have their own thing to do, you know, they're not left alone, because everyone gets their own version of the Doctor, you know, and there's a version of the Doctor that stays with Swarm, and there's a version that stays with Carvanista, and there's a version that stays, you know, in the tunnels with Yaz and Dan. So it's like there's three Doctors, like the same Doctor, all around the place, you know, taking charge, and you know, it's just very confusing. It's not only until about halfway through the episode that I realized, right, okay, so they're all present. I didn't realize whether they were jumping around, like whether she could only be in one place at a time, or whether she was in all three places at a time, because it was so quick in the beginning, you know. It's like, that's how much of a chaotic start it was. There was a bit, you know, again, everything kicks off, right, with the Centaurans. They need to stop the invasion of Earth. And it all kicks off, right, because they need to get in to the Centauran command. And the whole Centauran chocolate scene, oh my gosh, come on. Like, I felt like I wanted to pull my eyes out. Like, it was, I don't know about you, but like, that just was like painful to watch, right? And the worst thing is you got an hour-long season finale, and like, you waste a whole lot of that time with a scene like that, you know. Was there really nothing else you could do? But yeah, oh gosh. So like, and the other thing as well, right, I've got, like, the whole Centauran thing, it was pretty much a Centauran story, which, you know, I don't know, I just wasn't expecting that for the finale. They come back, they have their whole thing going on. Unfortunately, the Grand Serpent, who was great in the last episode, I thought, he does take the back seat again here, you know. The Centaurans, you know, they do come across as formidable once again, especially with their wiping out the entire Lupari, like, except for Carvanista. You know, that, and the way that Carvanista reacts right to the end of the episode is believable. But you know, the Grand Serpent, you know, anyone who is asking like, oh, what's the Grand Serpent's plan, why did he infiltrate UNIT, was his sole purpose just to help the Centaur? That's like, why do that? It wasn't really explained. Anyone who is asking those legitimate questions is not going to get answers, and you know, because it all takes the back seat because of everything that's going on. So which is a shame, right? Because he, you know, I thought he was great in the last episode, and I was curious to know why, you know, what was his plans for UNIT, you know, and what, UNIT's just back now and that's it, because everything's fixed. Swarm and Azure, the Ravagers, you know, they actually spend a lot of the time just, you know, mocking, taunting the Doctor with her memories. And this is the thing as well, right? After the whole Timeless Child reveal, I initially like thought that, you know, he's changed it like without any reason. He's just changed it. He's just changed the story. But this was the thing. He had the chance to do something with it, at least to tell more story, right? And he teased it, you know, with the trailer showing the opening of the fob watch. The opening of the fob watch doesn't do anything because it's all in the house, and they never go in the house because the Swarm can just keep destroying it and bringing it back, like to torment the Doctor. And in the end, the fob watch lands to her, and you know, she just hides it in the TARDIS, you know, somewhere where she'll never find it, you know, and unless she really wants to. Okay, so they leave it open. But, you know, it just, anyone who thought that we were going to find out anything else is going to be disappointed, because we didn't. Like, you know, it's, which makes it, the timeless child reveal sort of like, he goes and does that, and then that's it. That's the story. That's all there is to it. There's nothing more. Any lost hidden lives, hidden memories, that's it. We're not going to find out anything about that, as of this series. It's open because the fob watch is still there, but it just, anyone who's hoping for something like that in this episode is going to be really disappointed. Like, I didn't particularly like the timeless child, but I was curious to know why, like, or what, anything else, and there was nothing. In the end, the thing is that everything goes so quick, right? So at one point, Vinda's trapped inside a passenger with Diane. Diane is the character who really annoys me in this episode, I gotta say, because all she's done this series is get trapped by passenger, and then all of a sudden she's an expert, on what passenger is. And this is somewhat okay, like, just because she spent maybe an absurd amount of time there, who knows. But then when she gets rescued by the Doctor, also very easily, from passenger, she's the one who comes up with the idea to, like, absorb all the flux energy into passenger. Like, where does that come from? Like, I just think, like, how, like, how does she even know what, like, the flux is? It's just mind-boggling, and then even that idea is sort of odd, because why would passenger be able to absorb the flux? And then the thing is, the scene where it does happen, flux was portrayed as this massive thing in the opening episode, and yet it's absorbed by passenger in a few seconds. Like, it destroyed the entire Dalek and Cyberman fleet, and then it just absorbs it in passenger in a few seconds, like, and that's it. It's and the funny thing is it's actually like Revolution of the Daleks, where they have all the Daleks and then the TARDIS just absorbs them. Like, just get everything in there. Like, we'll put them in a box and, like, that's it. So it just leaves a sour taste, because there's so much happening. It can't, like, the episode doesn't have the runtime to give a good resolution to any of these things, so every single resolution feels like a little bit quick. It's I was upset that with the death of Jericho, and this is the thing, this is something that did a bit better than the previous series, because he did have a genuine death. Like, he did. I couldn't tell whether he actually dropped the ring. I think he dropped the ring. That seems more likely. Otherwise, he would have got out. But then he drops the ring, and he has this whole part where he has his death. There's nothing they can do to save him, which is, it adds a little bit more power and emotion to that scene. But in, like, the last series, when they had the death of Ko Sharmas, who just walks in and then is like, tells the Doctor, "Get out of here! I'm gonna take them all with me." It at least there was no hope, and unfortunately it was a sad case for Jericho that he couldn't escape. But then, like, it's just that was a good moment. I wasn't expecting that, but, like, there's so much, like, that just happens. They have to explain, like, for example, what the tunnels are, like, how they came to be, and they have to dedicate minutes and minutes of the episode to Williamson, who has to say, like, I was in my field one day and I found this door, and so I built my whole tunnels around it. They call me a madman. This is all, like, it's a mix, because they dedicate time to a chocolate Santaran, like a chocolate obsessed Santaran, and this explanation here, and then, like, everything else is resolved so quick. Even when there's two doctors, the second Doctor is like, "Oh, can I explain this bit?" And I'm like, so much explaining, like, so much talk, so much, like, if there's anything more to be explained, like, everything else is going to be dealt with so quick, and it was, and that's the thing. It's hard to see how, like, a lot, like, of people will just accept, you know, how easy this was. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. It's just like I feel particularly sad that like they didn't do anything other than that, you know. And that was the other one. I just reminding myself of, you know, like when the Doctor sees that the Centaurans are sending this message of a truce, and from that, she's able to work out their entire plan to wipe out the Daleks and Cybermen. Like, from a message to help to this entire plan that turns out to be spot on correct. Like, the fact that they're drawing them in with the protection of the shields, they're gonna double cross them, you know. It's just like the entire plan, like, and she explained the entire plan, like, wasted minutes explaining that. Like, it could have been just like, oh, the Centaurans never ask for an alliance, it's gotta be a trap, and then she can maybe see the destruction of the Flux of the Daleks and Cybermen. Maybe then the Carvanista, like, can, you know, maybe Carvanista then on his own can be the savior of the Earth. The lone Lupari, like, saving the planet, you know, species recall. He's doing his job, you know. But no, it's like she works out the entire plan, and it goes on from there, you know, because how else are we gonna know what the plan is, you know? It's not like the Centaurans, like, destroying everything, like destroying the entire Dalek and Cyberman fleet is enough to show us, right? It's got to be explained, like, in that way. It's just like, seriously, it's a shame because Flux has been enjoyable for the most part. The finale was action packed, right? There was a lot going on, but there was these moments that just break it for me, do you know? And it's just, I'll remember just how easily fixed it was in the end with and not just the Flux, but like everything along the way to that. You guys are gonna have to tell me what you think in the comments about this. I'll be interested to hear what you think. Overall, I just think that it just leaves a bit of a sour taste in my mouth after the whole story arc. And it was promising for the most part. There was good episodes in Flux, right? That I will enjoy rewatching. But then, like, in the end, it was like this. So, you know, and there was a lot of promise and not a lot of deliverance on some things. A lot of time is, you know, taken up by things that don't necessarily need to be there. So yeah, that's the finale. I was, you know, interested about the tease for the New Year's special and for the upcoming 3 specials, which is very interesting. But yeah, be sure to let me know what you think. Anyway, that's all I got time for now. How would I rate this episode? The sad thing is I do think it's the worst of them all, so I gotta give it, I think, a 6. You know, I think I've got to give it a 6 just because of the way that it deals with the overall story. It can't bring it all together into a finale that makes me think like, wow, you know, that was great. That was a great finale. It brings it all together in a finale that I'm like, well, you know, oh well, you know, it was too easy. You know, it was too much, too quick, too easy. You know, it's a shame, but I will enjoy watching some of those other episodes again. So yeah, let me know what you think down in the comments below. I'm going to do an overall Flux review soon, so be sure to stay tuned for that. Be sure to check out Who News, which is coming out tomorrow. And also, check out our gaming channel for Doctor Who Let's Plays. So yeah, with all that said and done, thank you very much for joining me throughout this Doctor Who Flux reviews, and join me on New Year's Day for this special review. So yeah, thanks very much for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye!